Okay, so one of the other reasons I stepped out was to check on my stew. It's really cold here in Texas. It's like this huge, massive winter snowgeddon thing. We've got like 2 inches of snow in West Texas. That's like with our wind and everything. It feels a lot colder. It's I don't know what's it, it's 14 degrees for us. That's really freaking cold. Anyway, so let's continue with the game. Let's continue dealing with what AI has produced for us. Just a quick review. We went from having Gemini uh, in our browser to talking about what we're going to try to do. We made an action plan. We also did a little bit of research on this game. We're basically doing a game where we're buying artwork. The confidence in whether it's real is low. And then through the game, we're trying to buy and sell. So on one hand, it's pick up and deliver. On the other hand, it's reverse deduction. We basically, if you look at Christie's as a place where they they play social deduction on items that might not be real, like forgeries or whatever. So we buy paintings cheap, and we go through and try to up the confidence level or lower and up the confidence level to sell them, make money, and then that's our slay the spire is buy cheap paintings. For some reason, AI has been calling our money like health. I guess you can kind of look at it that way. I would look at it the other way. I would look like health is money in other games. When you're playing Slay the Spire, basically when you're looking at health, you're looking at money. It's easier to see it that way because unless you live in the world of video games all the time, in the real world, you don't have a health bar. You're either, you can take damage or like you get cut or whatever. In the real world, you don't see a health meter, but you do see your money go up and down. And it's actual things you can see. So anyway, let's see what we've got. Um, let's start here. What we didn't do last time, what we should have. Let's go ahead and hear what it has to say. Wait, first, we'll scroll down to the bottom. It doesn't have the listen because the prompt is too long. Let's hear what it says. Boom. This is before.
I'll build the sleeper project for you right now. I'm following the specifications from your sleeper_project_prompt.md file exactly, a single file HTML application with dark academia aesthetics, a polar spiderweb map, fog of war, and the specific economy/confidence mechanics outlined. Here is the complete game file.
Okay, so it's telling us that it did that. Let's go down here. See what else it has to say about the game.
I have generated the sleeper project as a single file application. Key features implemented. Spiderweb map, a polar grid system with 5 rings. The center is the auction house, and the outer rim contains the buyers. Fog of war, you can only see adjacent nodes. As you move, the web reveals itself. Economy, you start with limited funds, $1,500 to $2,500 depending on choice. Every move costs $100. Running out is game over. Confidence logic. Floors, some nodes require 30% confidence, example museums. Ceilings, shady nodes require 60% confidence. The trap, if you exceed 90% confidence, moving carries a risk of a market panic event which crashes your stats. Visuals, dark charcoal background, sepia/gold lines, and color-coded nodes, green for academic, red for scandal, yellow for shading. How to play. Click preview to launch the game. Choose a painting. The Faded Saint is cheap but low confidence, the Abstract Study is risky but high confidence. Click nodes to move, watch your money. You need to balance gaining confidence, green nodes, with managing costs. Use shady nodes, yellow if your confidence gets too high to enter a shady node, find a scandal, red, node to lower it purposely. Goal, reach the outer ring, orange nodes, to sell the painting.
Okay, so we have that. What did I tell it? Let's find out. Oh, I changed. They had some stuff on this side. I had it move the journal to here. I wonder. exactly what that's for. We'll find out. Let's see what it said after I had it move and do a little bit of changes. Read.
Hello. I can certainly restructure the layout for you. It sounds like you want a cleaner interface where the focus is on the map, and the information is delivered contextually via tooltips, pop-ups, rather than fixed panels. Here are the changes I've made. Layout change, remove the left journal panel. The game now uses a 2-column layout, map on the left/center, HUD on the right. Journal location, move the journal/log to the bottom of the right HUD panel. It is scrollable so you can review history without it taking up screen real estate.
Nice.
Immortal, modal, /tooltip pop-up, I've added a floating tooltip. When you mouse over a node, a card pops up right next to your cursor with all the critical details, cost, requirements, type, replacing the old fixed current node section. Here is the updated game.
Okay, I like what it got. It has, let me see what I saved. Remember, I think this is the other version. No, this is this version. We have it saved. Then if we looked at this version here, boom, scroll. I don't really like that. Okay, so something to take in mind whenever you're doing AI stuff with Gemini, look down here, make sure it says Pro. Here's what we're going to do. We'll add another. I'll show you the difference here. Here we designed the game. Let's go back. We'll go here. Now we'll go here. I think this is where we need to be. When we gave it the original prompt, we had a text file, and then we had this. So we're going to copy this. This is the original prompt to make the game. We'll put the prompt here. And in, I think, this version, actually, let's go ahead and we'll upload the document it was this document here. That document gives us information on how to build the game. We're going to change this from Pro. We're going to go to the fast model. Change this member to put it in Canvas. Let's see what it builds. While it's doing that, oh, it made an action plan. We don't want an action plan. We want a game. I want you to build the game in using HTML, JavaScript, and CSS in Canvas. There it goes. We'll look at the difference between fast and the Pro model. We'll go here, and then if you want to check out the game from the beginning, reset, restart. I like that, sort of. Then you pick a game, whatever. Okay, so I like what we have so far. Let's, for our purposes, under that very beginning screen where it says the Sleeper Project, underneath that, so let's say if that's got a square around, a gold square around it, underneath that, let's go ahead and put some dev tools there. The dev tools, what we need is to be able to add more rings because we have an arbitrary amount of rings. We want to be able to change that for playtesting. We want to be able to also add a dev tool to be able to adjust the amount of each type of node. Also, we want a adjustment on how much money we have. We want an adjustment for amount of fog of war you can see. Let's start there with our dev tools. That'll be at the very start. Okay, so we're asking it to put some dev tools in there. So remember on the previous video, I told you about our arbitrary numbers. This is how we kind of work with that so that we know we can go up and down with some numbers and some variabilities. And every time we see something we want to change, ask yourself, can that go into a dev tool? And if it can, add it. So that way you can adjust that number, because like when you're designing the game for the first time, you're just throwing in some bullshit in there. You don't know. Like maybe 5 rings is perfect. Maybe 3 rings is right. Maybe 50 rings is right. We don't know. So here we go. We'll do that. We're having it work on that. We'll go to this tool thing, and I don't know what it built. The Sleeper Project Confidence. Look at this crap. I don't know what the hell. What the hell is this? But all is not bad. So it made this thing. This is kind of interesting. It's not bad. It's not great either. So what you could do with something like that is you take Gemini again, go boom. Check this out. This is the way that I would do this. Hit canvas. Please put me some placeholder, put some placeholder code in the canvas environment. Make it HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Basically, I'm going to place some code in there of a game that I want you to rebuild and make it better. And a little bit closer to what I really want. Okay. So there it goes. It put some stuff in there. So something you should know is that Canvas doesn't automatically open when you put it. So you need it to open the canvas area, put something in there. That's why I told it to put a placeholder. Here on preview, I'm going to hit code, and then there is the code for what it just did, whatever this shit is. Bam. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, copy the contents of this, go to that other prompt, paste that in there, make sure it's there, preview. There it goes. There is the game that we have, right? I kind of like this aesthetic. Okay, and then what we'll do here, we'll change it from fast. We're going to go back to pro. Actually, let's go to, we'll go to thinking. I've never done thinking, or I have, but I don't really, I use pro all the time. We'll upload our original action plan. I did this with Gemini 3.0, but I did the fast version, and it came up with something sort of. It's kind of cool, kind of not. I wish that, it took some of my information and did it right, where you start with 3 choices of paintings and then you go from there. So it kind of took some of my concepts and kind of didn't. Let's fix this project using the current code that you have in there. Use my document as a reference to what we want to do. First, let's make an action plan. Do not put that action plan inside of Canvas. Make the action plan in the prompt area, and then once we have a good action plan, we'll go ahead and work on rebuilding this. We're going to use some of the code in the aesthetics that's there, but we're going to actually fix it to where it's more closely aligned to what I'm trying to build. Okay, so that also reminded me of something I need to tell you guys. The way it sort of works, and this is just very high level. Gemini is on a server. You are sending prompts to the server. It's doing things, and it's sending it back to your browser. If it has to code too many lines of code, it'll time out, and you'll lose what it did. So one of the things you have to understand is the way Gemini works, or the way that I've been explained, or it's been explained to me. If you have it code, let's say I give it a prompt and I say, hey, build this thing. It has to think about how to do it, remember how to do it, and then do it line by line, which means it can forget certain things or remove certain things or introduce errors or syntax problems. The rule of thumb is have it make an action plan. it can reference its own action plans as long as it's not too far from your current prompt. Meaning, if I prompted it 20 times and we're 20 prompts deep and I ask it to reference something we talked about 20 prompts ago, that's probably not going to go well. The best thing to do is ask it to bring back that prompt or copy and paste that prompt back into copy and paste its answer back into the prompt so it has that information right now and tell it to only reference that and then have it do its thing. Also, when you make an action plan, what it's basically doing is taking that, like imagine it as this floating memory and putting it on paper so it has something to reference. So it's putting it down, it's written down, so now it can reference it. So it doesn't have to use so much compute to make your thing. If I just gave it information, just said, hey, let's make a game, and I told it what to do, and it has to think on how to do it at the same time as coding, that's much more difficult than going, hey, make a plan on how you would go about doing this. And then it makes the plan and you say, okay, execute the plan. Then it reads the plan and it executes it, and it uses less compute, which means you're less likely to time out, which means you're not going to lose valuable time, because if it times out, you've got to start all over. And you're not going to get the same result twice. Like, this is 3 different games based on the same idea. That's a game, that's a game, and that's a game. So what we did here is we took a version of the game that the fast model made. We gave this our original plan to make a game. We gave it reference material to say, look, this is a version that was made. This doesn't align with what I wanted. Fix it. And then also, let's listen and see what it says.
This is a fantastic concept. The dark academia aesthetic paired with a deterministic logic puzzle map makes for a very compelling roguelike. The current code has the visual foundation, the spiderweb map, but it lacks the acquisition phase and the logic gate depth mentioned in your plan. Here is the action plan to rebuild the Sleeper project to match your vision. Action plan, the Sleeper project rebuild. 1. The acquisition phase, the start, the choice. Instead of starting at the hub automatically, the game will begin with an auction house overlay showing 3 generated sleepers paintings. Varied stats. Each painting will have artist attribution, e.g., School of Rembrandt. Initial cost drains your starting $2,000. Starting confidence, how much the market already believes it. Risk profile, some might be easier to boost but have lower ceilings. 2. Fog of war and scouting. Visual darkness. Nodes and connections will be completely hidden unless they are exactly 1 step away from your current position. Scouting strategy. You must move to reveal the university or forger sectors, creating a risk-reward loop where you might spend travel money only to find a dead end or a node you can't enter. 3. Advanced logic gates, windows, floors and ceilings. Nodes will now check state, confidence. Example. The master forger requires confidence less than 40%. If your painting is too famous, high confidence, he won't touch it because it's too hot. Key system, provenance, academic keys, blue, collected from historians, archives. Technical keys, green, collected from labs, X-ray nodes. Underworld keys, yellow, collected from pawn shops, forgers. Gatekeeping, high-tier nodes, the museum, the rim, will require specific combinations of these keys, e.g., 2 blue plus 1 green. 4. The devaluation mechanic. The 90% trap. Introduce the expert node logic. If your confidence is too high, 90% plus, visiting a high-tier authenticator might trigger a market protection event where they publicly deny the work to protect their own collection's value, causing a massive minus 30% confidence.
Okay, we have to remember that. I don't want random events, so we're going to have to put a kibosh on that. And then also, all these random numbers and shit, we're going to ask it to make a dev little unit thing to fuck with it.
Hit. 5. UI, UX refinement. The confidence window. The confidence meter will visually highlight entry windows for adjacent nodes so you can see at a glance if you need to gain or lose confidence to move forward. Typewriter logs. More descriptive story-based logging for node interactions. Does this plan look right to you? If so, I will proceed with rebuilding the index HTML file to implement the acquisition phase first, followed by the fog of war and the logic gate systems. We will.
Okay, I like shook my head whenever it was talking about writing shit down. I'm making this game for me. Like, I don't care. It's a pickup and delivery game. I'm trying to go within and in and out of percentages, and I'm basically doing this, like it said, like a logic key gate kind of thing. I don't care about the journal entry. Now, you might say, oh, well, some people will care about it. Well, I'll add that shit later. It's harder to look at a project, add all this cool shit, play the game, and then you're like, well, it doesn't really need this, doesn't really need that, or whatever, and take it out and then be okay with it. It's better just never to fucking see it and start molding the clay into what you want instead of, we'll add a dog to this statue, and then later on you decide to remove the dog and you're like, well, the statue's kind of missing something. It's kind of that kind of a feeling. Okay, so firstly, I don't want anything random except for those 3 random paintings that you start with. I would like, at the very beginning, all these numbers, they're kind of arbitrary. We don't know exactly what numbers are going to work when we start balancing it, so we need a little dev thing. So whenever you put up the original paintings for sale, underneath it, make a little dev thing that I can adjust, like starting bankroll, how many nodes we're going to use in this game, how many yellow, how many blue, basically all those things that I can manipulate to balance it. I need a way to be able to do that instead of having to code this shit over and over again. Look at that. See where I said shit at like S star. See, okay. So there's more I want to tell it. So I can't just continue. I could type it. What's the fun in that? All right. I'm going to copy that, put that in the clipboard, delete it, start. Just like if I ended that sentence, I'm going to continue. Do not code this yet. We're still working on the action plan phase. I'd like the action plan to be more solid, and then we'll code it later. But no coding. We're just making a good action plan to make this job easier. I don't like the idea of a journal, so don't add a journal. That's the main thing. Don't add a journal, add the dev part, and let's get an action plan. I had to remember to tell it not to code it. Otherwise it had just started coding, and it's very proactive. If you tell it something, it'll just start fucking coding it. So you have to always tell it, don't code, because let's say you're on a paid tier and you're not on the $250 tier of Gemini, you're on like my tier where it's like, let's say you're on the tier lower than mine, you're on the $25 tier. You're going to use all your tokens up because you're generating all this code, and then you won't be able to come back to your project for 8 more hours. You don't want to be in that situation. Okay, so I pasted in what was in the clipboard. I asked it to make the action plan. We'll continue. Let's go back to here. This was the fast model. We don't need him anymore. We're here. This is the dev kit to up and down the amount of nodes. This is pretty cool. I like that. We'll pick one of these. Boom. Here we go. We'll start the game again by hitting refresh. Let's add number of rings. Let's go 50. Fog of War, we'll change that to 6 just to see what it do. Boom. Sweet. We need scroll bars and all that kind of stuff. I really like what we have. We want to make sure to save this and keep it. So we go here, copy it. Let's go to our notebook, our notepad. Let's go ahead and paste this into our notepad and go ahead and save it. rewrite or overwrite what we had last time. Well, it's not overwriting it, it's writing another copy, but we know the most current copy is that. We like that. We need to fix what we need to fix here. I like what we have, except the problem is there is no scroll bars in the map. The map is our key feature. If anything, we could hide the status part if we need to. It could, it could go bury itself to the right when we don't need it, like a minimize button, but it minimizes to the right and see more of the map. We definitely need scroll bars to be able to vision the map better. Right now, that's all I'd like to add. Please do not modify the code other than what I've asked for. Okay, we got that. This guy over here, let's see what he's talking about. Sometimes you have to hit listen twice. Whenever you see this, it's sending it back to the server.
This is a much better direction. By removing the mid-game randomness and turning it into a sequencing puzzle, we shift the game from gambling to strategy. The player's success will depend entirely on their ability to map out a path through logic gates. The dev console is a smart addition. It will allow us to find that sweet spot for difficulty without digging into the script every 5 minutes. Here is the refined action plan, the Sleeper Project, deterministic version. Phase 1, the pre-game, acquisition and dev console, the 3 paintings. Upon starting, the game presents 3 sleepers. Each painting has unique starting stats, base cost, what you pay at the hub, initial confidence percent, inherent attributes, e.g., religious subject, might make church nodes more effective. The dev console, the director's desk, before picking a painting, a toggleable panel allows you to set the world parameters, starting_bankroll, default $2,000. Travel_cost, cost per move. Node_distribution, sliders for frequency of academic, blue, shady, yellow, and science, green, nodes. Difficulty_scalar, adjusts the logic gate, strictness, e.g., higher floors, lower ceilings. Phase 2, the map system, the spiderweb, deterministic map general. While the map layout is generated once at the start, the outcomes are fixed. If a node says, plus 10% confidence, it will never change. Fog of war, scouting, the player only sees nodes connected to their current position. Moving reveals the next ring. Strategy, you might see a Master Forger node in Ring 3, but you won't know the path to get there until you reach Ring 2. Backtracking, you can return to any visited node, but you pay the travel_cost again. Phase 3, the sequencing puzzle, logic gates. This is the core of the gameplay. Nodes are windows that only open under specific conditions. Confidence windows, floors, requires greater than 50% confidence. The National Gallery won't see you if you're a nobody. Ceilings, requires less than 30% confidence. A shady back alley dealer won't talk to someone who is currently under a spotlight. Provenance keys, tokens, nodes grant specific stamps or papers. Example, to enter the Royal Archive, you might need a historian's note, light blue, and a chemical report, green. The devaluation trap, at high confidence, 90% plus, certain nodes become dangerous experts. If you enter their node, they trigger a deterministic -40% hit unless you have a bribe key. Phase 4, economy and survival. The liquidity clock. Every move and every node interaction drains the bankroll. No journal. The HUD is strictly technical. Bankroll, confidence, and inventory. Emergency nodes. Asterisk pawn shop. Instant cash but a heavy confidence penalty. Loan shark. High cash, but a debt tag that kills the player if the final sale price isn't high enough to cover it. Phase 5. Visual style.
Okay, so there was something interesting. That's going to trigger maybe... This is this is sad, but this is like what it really is like listening to somebody else while you bounce ideas off of them. If you don't trust them to design, a lot of the time they're talking and they'll say some stuff and all it does to you is trigger better ideas. So he just had an idea that was pretty cool. What was it? Let's see, where were we at?
Dark academia, the canvas.
let's see, where are we at? Dark Academia. Do-do-do. No journal. Do-do-do-do. Dark Academia. So we were right here, Loan Shark. That was the idea. So while we're listening, let me put this in there so I won't forget. On those loan sharks, the way that I would like them to work is they give you an X amount of nodes to pay them back. So let's say you go to a loan shark and he makes you a deal. Or let's not even call them loan sharks. They're friends or whatever. There's something. We'll figure out what the name is later. That's arbitrary. We got a node that will loan you money, but the percentage of this painting needs to hit whatever in the hell it needs to hit in 3 moves. Otherwise, you'll lose more money or something will happen bad. Like maybe that'll end the game. Maybe it's desperate and you hit one of those nodes. It's a loan type node. It'll have a unique color. When those nodes give you an amount of time, you go to that node, it'll say, hey, get it to 45%, and you're at 30. Here's $100 or $500. If you don't pull it off, we'll break your knees, which means the game's over. That could be an injection of cash, or that might be a way to break the game. So maybe we won't have it, but we'll test it anyway. So this is something I'm going to tell it in a moment.
Top-down web view. The HUD, the confidence meter. This will feature brackets or highlighters that indicate the entry windows of the nodes you are currently looking at. The inventory, visual stamps on a document to show your provenance keys. The palette, ink black, sepia, gold leaf, and deep blood reds. Next steps for implementation. Build the dev console first. This ensures we can test everything else easily. Create the acquisition screen, generate the 3 paintings and let the player select one to launch the map. Implement the fog of war. Ensure nodes are hidden until neighbors are visited. Codify the logic gates. Create the function that checks if conference greater than floor and in conference less than ceiling and in keys, includes, required, before allowing a move. Does this plan meet the deterministic strategy and dev console requirements you're looking for? If so, we are ready to start building the systems.
It's weird how it mispronounced deterministic. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Remember, I'm going to put it in the clipboard. Don't write any code yet. Include this in your action plan. What you have in your action plan so far is pretty good. I dig it. Of course, we're going to refine the hell out of it later. Make sure to make as much of the game in that dev thing that we can, that dev console as we can, such as adding extra nodes, adding the types of nodes, adding how many rings of nodes, adding starting money, adding confidence level adjustments. It's just stuff like that. Like pretty much all these arbitrary numbers we've thrown in there, we need a way to control it to be able to play test it later. And it also remind us what is arbitrary for now. Like what numbers have we just thrown in there just to throw in there to have a number? Maybe this game needs to be working in the $50 million range, or maybe this game needs to be working in the $100 range. All that needs to be adjusted. So please make me an action plan that includes what we've just talked about and the things you've written. Okay, so I'm going to paste this in from the clipboard, and we're going to go ahead and give it that information. We'll look and see where we're at in this game. Okay, so let's say we choose that. We have the scroll bars we asked for. We have the minimize. Oh, dude, that's sweet. Let's see what happens whenever we go. Let's restart the project. Let's add rings. Let's go to 10 rings. Actually, let's go 100 rings. Fuck it. Buy this painting. Boom. Scrolls way out here. That's pretty sweet. When we do that, we still have the scroll bar. That's the part that I wanted to ask about. Dude, I really like what's going on with this game. Okay. So, that's pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and copy this code. We like this version. We'll put it in our WebPad++, and then we'll go ahead and save it. Cool. Let's go back to the game. Really dig what we got going on. Let's go back to this version here. Let's just see what he makes. It made an action plan. Remember, always have it make an action plan before it starts coding, because it'll save you on timing out. It'll save you on tokens if you're on a low tier plan. It said right here, is this, I'll just have it read it.
Is this action plan solid enough to begin implementation? If you approve, I will start by building the director's desk, dev console, and the acquisition phase logic into the code.
Execute the plan. I feel like on a starship or something, and it's like, engage. So here it goes, doing its thing. Let's go back here to the game. Let's go ahead and we'll close this version. That's an older version. Off camera, I'll go ahead and pull up our latest version. No, that's the wrong game. Boom. That's another game I was dicking around with. All right, so the Sleeper Project. We need to change the name eventually. Acquire a painting, fabricate its history, sell it before you go bankrupt. Perception is reality. Such a generic version of a game, you know? Like I think I'd come up with something cooler than that. Select acquisition. I think I'm going to make this like a catalog entry. You know, imagine like, I've never seen, I should do some research here. What does Christie's catalog or whatever auction house catalog look like? Anyway, so let's say we collect that. Boom. This is the original system. What I want is maybe a key here to tell me what type of node is what. Also, we need to make sure that it outlines where we've been. So we need the actual painting. Our painting is 40%. I want it not to use generic language like the greater than, less than shit. I want it to actually say something. And we need these are way too high, I think, these confidence levels. Anyway, so we bought a painting. We're at 40% confidence level. Here, so if we go there, we need it to highlight. Well, we know where we don't necessarily know where we've been. It shows these spaces. So let's work on this. It'll make more sense as I talk to it. Okay, something about the game that I don't like is that it doesn't highlight the road that I took to the next node. We need that information. Underneath each node, let's go ahead and label the node, and let's go ahead and have a key on the right side information board where it has, like if it's academic, it's this color green. If it's shady, it's yellow. You know, all that information needs a key, a legend, if you will. And instead of showing the sign less than, greater than, we're not, we're going to go with the theme. And with the theme, we're just your average Joe. So we're going to write the words less than 40% or greater than 40%. We're going to write the words. We're not going to use symbols. What else do we need? Let's just work on that right now. So we're going to send it off to fix that. It's working on the code. Here's our other game that we were making, the one that started off in the fast version. And then we basically fixing it. I like this. Start. Ooh, nice. I like the aesthetics of this. $400, 5% confidence, marketeer moderate. Boom, too much information. See, we got an error. Let's go ahead and have it fix the error. Don't know what the error was, but it'll fix it. We have these two coding right now. Let's go back to, that was an earlier version. I really don't like that. This isn't bad. That, I don't like that they disappear. But at the same time, like, we could riff on that. We could talk about, okay, so what would be interesting about nodes disappearing in the fog is, one thing that would be interesting is if those nodes changed, but that introduces random, and I don't really like random. I'd prefer deterministic. The other thing we could do is have, whenever they disappear, it could possibly change how they connect. But again, I don't like, that's not deterministic. Basically, they're disappearing screws with my deterministic thing. The interesting part, like, if you're moving along the node system and you don't remember what was where, like, you kind of get screwed. Like let's say we're starting, boom, we pick one of these paintings, we go here, we can see, pawn shop, local gallery, whatever. So we kind of figure out where it was at, and then we move, and then we don't have them there anymore. We kind of need a system where any node we visited, we need to be able to expand out of. Kind of like if you're used to cube rails, when you lay down your train, as long as you lay down another train adjacent to it, you're good. So something like that. It's finished. Nice. Let's see what happened. Boom. Oh, it's too much words. Crap. That kind of sucks. I like that. Let's go ahead and get scroll bars on the status section, and I had to change my mind about the node names. Let's have a scroll bar in the status section in case our journal gets too long. Also, go ahead and remove the names on the nodes. It's too cluttered. The other thing, well, actually, instead of removing the names, let's go ahead and space out the nodes more so that first, no, that's actually a bad idea. Let's just remove the names from the nodes. From, the top-down view, you get it whenever you do the mouse over the tooltip. On the side thing where the status, we'll go ahead and add a scroll bar on there in case we have to scroll down further. I like the map legend. Let's see. I like what I'm seeing for the tooltips. I like that whenever I go to a place, it shows me the, oh, okay. It's whenever you go to a new spot on the nodes, on the node map, keep the old nodes visible. We're going to do this like in a cube rail where you lay down track, and you can lay down track that expands from any track you've already laid. So any place we've already gone, we need to go ahead and let a player know, have some feedback. You've already gone there. You can't interact with that circle anymore. But anything adjacent to anything you've ever been to is available. Maybe. We're going to try that and see how that works. As you can see, when I'm talking to Gemini, I am just talking to it like it's my homeboy. I'm just maybe a little bit more positive than I would talk to a homeboy. But yeah, I'm going back and forth because if I talk badly to my friends about trying to get this, if I'm like a tyrant about getting something done, I might actually get better results. But in the world of Gemini and LLMs so far, positivity works best. Please, thank you, and shit like that for some stupid reason works. Yeah, so there's this version. This version's kind of cool. I'm going to concentrate on this version. Did I have this one make any changes? No, I was just using this as a thing. So, interesting enough, we had the same information. We gave it to the same LLM. We gave it in 3 different windows. 2 of those we gave in different ways. One, we pasted the information. The other one, we uploaded a document. And one, we did it in fast thinking, and it made some crap. And then now we're fixing that. So we're kind of reverse engineering and fixing this thing. This is the version that I like. So what I would do once I get, on the next thing, I guess I'm going to move forward on this project. We could work on designing it all day long, piece by piece. As you can see, as long as I can keep myself busy and give it time to code, it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it takes enough time to wander. Like, to keep myself busy, one of the things I could do would be to get this code, copy it, paste it in a I'll just show you, because we're going to have to do it anyway at some point. Here's what we're end up having to do at some point. I didn't mean to do that, but that's all right. We have this version, right? Remember, change it to, we'll go to Pro, hit Canvas, make sure Canvas is open. We're going to take this game. We're just assuming it's good. Copy it. What was the blank one there? We'll move this over. Go here. First, we need it to open the Canvas area. Please make me a placeholder in the Canvas area using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm going to paste some code for you to look at. I know that seems like a messed up stuff to have to do, but you do have to do it. And sometimes it doesn't do it right, but there we go. Boom. It's going to make a placeholder. It's done whenever this circle stops and you actually preview it. Boom. Cool. Don't care. We're going to copy all of that, delete it, paste our code there, go to preview, wait for it to catch up. Boom. Take a look at this game. We need to make a document that shows how to play this game, and we need to show a document that is a glossary for terms used in the game. Let's make one document that has both. Let's make it an HTML and make it kind of interactive a little bit. You can use CSS and JavaScript. We're going to use your document that you make it in the same style, because we'll add it back to the game later on, but all you're doing is making the document. Boom. Here's the how to play manual. Let's go to this was this version of the game. Cool. Bam. We got scroll bars here to read the journal. We have this scroll bar here. Got that. Let's try it. Boom. I like it. We can't go there for some reason. We can't go there. We don't have enough money. It travels 100. They need 70%. We were able to go there, but it didn't make a line there. So we're just clicking and getting information. Then we were able to go there. It shows a connection. See, I'm not actually playing it. I'm just kind of clicking randomly. Back at $1,000, zero market confidence. You know, Boom. We got to put an end state where zero market confidence will stop the game, whatever. Okay, so look, check it out. Here is the document. Obviously we need to go through and fix it. And one of the things we could do is, and I'll do that now. We'll get this game, share it, copy it. We'll go here. Well, actually, here's what we'll do. We'll go here, put the game in there. We'll put the name Sleeper. Save it. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm doing this off camera. Hold on 1 second. And we'll paste it there. Cool. We'll go to here. We'll go, here's where we have that document. We'll go here. Upload. We're going to upload our sleeper game. Okay. We need a button in the game at the very beginning that'll pull up this project, this HTML document you just made. So the game, I want you to add this code to the game. Copy this code, remake this game exactly the way it is, except you have a button that'll click and have how to play. And then this will be there. This thing you've already made. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is go ahead and get this so we don't lose it. We can Control A and copy it, or we can just share copy. Let's go back to our web pad, paste it there. Okay, and we'll call this Sleeper Help. That way we have it saved. We saved it. Just in case it craps out or something. And we're going to go ahead and combine them. This is what you would do after you have the game finished and you need to make like a monster compendium. You need to make how to play. You need to do all that. Obviously, you're going to read through. Obviously, you're going to ask it to make an action plan, read through the action plan, make sure that everything is written correctly, change the order, make it do all the things you need to do to it. Now, I can tell you right now, the game isn't very good. When you go do the game, right, you have a game that you designed or ALLM is helping you design, and you hit refresh, and you can just go there and you can just click on something and go and click, and you're not even reading and going. Obviously, it's not working right. We're going to fix it, though. $80 liquidity. We have $150. Where can we sell it? Buyer. We need that kind of a node. Less than 60%. We don't have it. Less than 60% confidence. We don't have it. Buyer. 70% confidence. Sell painting. Sold. Okay, we have a problem. The modal didn't go away. This should be on the top. It's something to remember. Sold for $400, or we lost money. We don't have an end state. We need to fix all that stuff. There is the game. Here's our dev thing. Boom, someone wants to know how to fucking play it. Close it. Start the game. We're playing it. I don't know. Field manual. There we go. That's what we have. That's how you would go from idea to prototyping to coming up with the rule book, in the next section, we'll talk about getting into the nitty gritty. I'm not going to design the game for you and like we're going to make the game better. Maybe we'll make it a little bit better, but we're not going to actually work on the game. We're going to talk about how to get what you need out of the game. I mean, how to get what you need out of the LLM so that you can make sure that it makes only the changes you want and the game works the way you need it to work using an LLM and have it not hallucinate and screw your game up. That's the next section. We'll go ahead and stop, take a break, and then we'll come back. How do you turn this damn thing off?